Hi students, in the last class we learned about methods of separation, different methods of separation. Okay, all of you read your textbook clearly more than one times. I hope all are read well. Okay, then study well. Okay, then today we are going to study our balance portion, balance methods of separation, balance methods of separation. Okay, what all methods of separations we learned in the previous classes? Yes, very good. Hand picking. First method of separation is we learned hand picking. Then second one winnowing. Then third one threshing. Very good. Then fourth one sieving. These four methods of separation we learned in the previous class. Okay. What is hand picking method we use? If we buy some rices from a shop. If we buy some rices from a shop. Inside the rice, we know that there is lots of husk, rice husk, then stones, then pieces of rice, then some impurities are present. So we cannot we cannot cook the rice that we buy from shops directly. So first what we need to separate these, how can we separate the impurities present in the rice we buy from shops? First we take the rice from the shop, place a large vessel. Then we do by hand picking the impurities or components present, unuseful components present in the rice. Unuseful components like a husk, pieces of rice, then impurities, then soup, etc. are present in the rice. So we use hand picking method for separate the impurities or unuseful or unwanted components present in the rice. So first method of separation is hand picking method. Then second we learn, first method of separation is hand picking. First method of separation is hand picking. Second method of separation we learn. Which is the second method of separation we learn? Yes, very good. Threshing. What do you mean by threshing? We know that in the paddy field, in the paddy fields, a bundle of paddy, in the paddy field or paddy field or wheat field, after harvesting, a bundle of paddy stalks are joined together and keep it aside. Then what farmers do, they beat the stalk of paddy or wheat beat the stalk of paddy or wheat for what? For getting the grains for getting grain seeds from the stalks of paddy or wheat, Okay, sometimes in ancient times the people directly do by this threshing process. Sometimes it not be done by human beings. So sometimes threshing is done by bullocks, and also sometimes threshing is done by if large quantities of grains can be threshed, we use machines in the modern society. In the technological society, we use machines for threshing process. We use machines for threshing process. What we do by threshing? We beaten the stalk of grains for removing the seeds. For removing the seeds by threshing method. Threshing method. Threshing is also a method of separation. Method of separation. All of you understood? Then what we learn? Winnowing. When we learn winnowing. Next method of separation is winnowing. Winnowing. What? Next method of separation is winnowing. Then how we do winnowing? Winnowing means we know that in our house our mother do. We use a winnowing sieve for winnowing the rice. What she do? She do take rice into a winnowing sieve and place it in place directly to the air. Then what happens? The lighter husk is flow away from the grains and the good grains are drop down. The soups are also remain on the winnowing sieve. In your textbook page number 37, the method of winnowing is given. A picture of method of winnowing is given. All of you listen. Then next we learn sieving. We know that we all students like to eat some idiyappam, then idiyappams etc. like to for breakfast. What our mothers do? Our mother, the rice flour is sieve. The rice flour is sieve with a sieve for getting smooth and small particles of rice flour. Rice flour. In this time, what happened? What she do? What our mother do? In your textbook, page number 38 is given. First we take a sieve, then put some rice flour into the sieve, then move the sieve. We can see that the small particles are go down and the larger particles remain on the top of the sieve. So we can remove the larger particles and the smaller particles can be used for our breakfast, for our need. Okay. So and also we know that for making houses we need what we need. We need sand. So what the constructions, the people present at the construction field do? They use a sieve. To separate the pebbles and the stones from the sand. So sieving is also a method of separation for removing the stones and pebbles from sand. Okay. Next method of separation is sieving. Okay. We move on to another method of separation. In your textbook, an activity 4 is given. Okay. So I will read the activity. All of you listen. Bring a sieve and a small quantity of flour from home. Then sieve the flour to separate any impurities in it. I will teach you what in our homes the rice flours are sieve with a sieve. Remove the impurities rice flour. Okay. Then sieving is used when components of a mixture have different sizes. In what situations, in which situations we use sieving? The particles or the components present in the substance that we take to sieve. So the components are in different sizes. We can use the sieving method for the separation of the impurities. Then next method of separation we learn is sedimentation. Next one is sedimentation. Do you know what is sedimentation? Sometimes we know that sometimes the hand picking method and the winnowing or sieving or threshing method is not possible for removing the impurities from such kind of substances. So we need another method of separation for removing the impurities. So that is sedimentation is one of the another method of separation we use instead of hand picking, winnowing, sieving, etc. Okay, the activity says that rice or pulses are usually washed before cooking. We know that in our house, our mother she wash the rice or pulses before cooking. Okay, when do you add water to these? The impurities, we know that in the pulses also contain impurities like husk, then husk, dust particles, stones, etc. are present in the pulses. So our mother, what she do? She wash the pulses of rices. First we add some water into the pulses. We can see that the dust particles and the weightless particles come on the top of the water. So what we do? We remove the water. From the pulses. So we can separate. The dust particles from the pulses. So in your textbook, the rice or pulses are usually washed before cooking. When you add water to these, the impurities like dust particles get separated. These impurities go into water. First of all, we take some pulses into a vessel, then add some water. We can see that the dust particles remains on the top of the water, so we can remove the water from the vessel. So the dust particles and the impurities go away with the water. Then what will sink to the bottom? We can see that the pulses sink to the bottom. The pulses remain in the bottom of the vessel. Then vessel is tilted to pour out the dirty water. Okay. When the heavier component in a mixture settles after water is added to it, the process is called sedimentation. We know that what we say, first of all, we take some pulses into a vessel. Then add some water. What happened? The impurities, the lighter impurities or the dust particles or the husk of the pulses remains on the top of the water. And the heavier component means the pulses or the rice remains under the vessel, or the pulses sink into the bottom of the vessel. After water is added. The heavier components sink into the bottom. That process of separation is called sedimentation. sedimentation. That process of separation is called sedimentation. When the heavier component in a mixture, settles after water is added to it, the process is called sedimentation. But when we can say that sedimentation takes place when the heavier components in a mixture settles down after water is added to it, that process is called sedimentation. Okay, then when the water along with the dust, the water is removed, the process is called decantation. The water is removed along with the dust particles, that process is called decantation. Okay, in your textbook, the sedimentation, separating two components of mixture, sedimentation and decantation is given. So what do you mean by sedimentation? First of all, we take some pulses in a vessel, then add some water to it, then we can see that the heavier components sink into the bottom of the vessel. Then so this process of separation is called sedimentation. Then what we do? We remove the water from the pulses. In the water contain the dust particles, then husk and the impurities. So we remove the water along with the dust particles, along with the impurities. This process of separation is called decantation. Then we can find a few other mixtures that can be separated through sedimentation and decantation. The same principle is used for some mixtures are also used to separate. Some mixtures are separated by this same principle, by the same principle of sedimentation and decantation. Okay. Then, for example, first we take oil and water. Two invisible liquids we take. Water and oil are taken. If first of all we take 1 glass water, then add some oil into the water. What happens? We can see that the oil is present on the top of the water. We can see that the two liquids, invisible liquids are seen on the two layers. How seen? In the form of two layers. We can see the mixtures separated in the form of two layers. So what we do? We can do the decantation method for separating the oil and water mixtures. In your textbook, the same principle is used for separating a mixture of two liquids that do not mix with each other. We know that the oil and water do not mix with each other. They are immiscible liquids. They are not visible. They are immiscible liquids. For example, oil and water. Oil and water from the mixture can be separated by this process. In which process we use? We use the decantation method. We use the decantation method for separating the water and oil mixture. Water and oil liquids of mixtures. We use the decantation method. We can see that the oil and water is in the form of two layers. So we use the decantation method. We remove the oil from the water by decantation method. To separate invisible liquids, we use the decantation method. To separate the two immiscible liquids. Okay, if a mixture of such liquid is allowed to stand for some time, they form two separate layers. oil and water makes two separated layers. Okay, the component that forms the top layer can be separated by decantation. First of all we take a glass with water. Then we add, this is water. First we take water, then we add some oil. Oil into the water. What happened? The oil remain and keep it aside for some time. A glass of water. What happened? The oil remains on the top of the water. We can see that the water and the oil form two layers. So what we have to do to separate the oil from water? We use the decantation method. We use the decantation method to separate the oil from the top of the water. We remove the oil slowly from the top of the water by decantation method. Then in your textbook, page number 39, separating two components of a mixture by sedimentation and decantation. Consider a mixture of solid and liquid. We know that we all prepare in our house. Prepare tea. What do you do to remove the tea leaves? We use a strainer or a sieve to remove the tea leaves from the tea. Okay. Then what we use the sieving method for removing the tea leaves from the tea, and also sometimes we use the decantation method for removing the tea leaves from the tea. Okay. Then here is an example given. In a glass, water and oil is taken. We know that water and oil is two immiscible liquids, do not mix with each other. So it forms two layers. So this method of separation is called sedimentation. Then the undissolved soil in water can be removed by decantation method. It can be removed slowly from the surface of the water by decantation method. All of you understood sedimentation and decantation? Then next method is called filtration. Seventh method, filtration. What do you mean by filtration? We know that in our house we all make tea. What we do? For making tea, we take milk and we also add some tea leaves into the milk for getting a tasty tea. Then what we do? We add some sugar also. Okay. Then what happened? Then next step what we do? We use a strainer. Or a sieve for removing the tea leaves from the tea. So that process that we use to filter the tea leaves from the tea. So that process is called filtration. Okay. So what do you mean by filtration? We can remove the solid substances or solid components from a liquid. We use the filtration method. Before filtration, we use a strainer or a sieve. For filtering. Okay, all of you understood what is filtration? filtration. All of you think about making a tea. What we do, for making a tea, we add some tea leaves. For getting tasty tea, we remove the tea leaves from the tea. The tea leaves are unuseful components of the tea. So we use a strainer and to remove and filter the tea from the tea leaves. So that process is called filtration. Okay. Then another example is given. Then the example of water that we use. If the another example is, now consider the example of water that we use. Then do all of us at all times get safe water to drink? No. Is all of us get the safe water to drink? No. Then sometimes water supplied through taps may be muddy. After rain, we get water from taps are muddy. The water from ponds or rivers will also be muddy, especially after rains. Let us see if we can use a method of separation to remove insoluble impurities like the soil from the water. We use the filtration method to separate the mud present in the muddy water, and that we can remove the mud and water by filtration. Okay. Next method of separation we have to learn. You have to learn. Next method of separation is evaporation. Next method of separation is evaporation. In your textbook, page number 39, activity 5. An activity is given. Activity 5. I will read the activity. All of you listen. Collect some muddy water from a pond. This activity about filtration, for understanding about filtration. And first one. So let's start. Collect some muddy water from a pond or a river. First of all, we collect some muddy water from a pond or a river. If it is not available, mix some soil into water in a glass. Let it stand for half an hour. Keep it aside for half an hour. Observe the water carefully and note your observation. What happened? The mud settles at the bottom of the glass. That process of separation is called sedimentation. Then the subsoil settles at the bottom of water. Why? What will you call this process? What will we call this process? Yes, sedimentation. The heavier particles, the heavier component will sink to the bottom of the glass. So that process is called as sedimentation. Then now slightly tilt the glass without disturbing the water. Let the water from the top flow into another glass. Then what we do? Without tilting, we remove the water in the surface of the heavier component into another glass. What process that we do? We do decantation method. Then is the water in the second glass still muddy or brown in color? Yes, brown in color. Now what we do? Then next process we use to change the color of the water. What we have to do? We do the filtration method. Did the tea strainer work? Let us try filtering the water through a piece of cloth. In a piece of cloth, small balls or pores remain in between the woven threads. These pores in a cloth can be used as a filter. We can use the tea strainer or a cloth piece to remove the impurities present in the water. Okay. Then another method we can use to filter paper. Filter paper is one such filter that has very fine pores in it. So filter paper is used to remove the impurities present in the muddy water. So if we use a filter paper for filtration, then we get the good water from the muddy water. Okay. Next method of separation. Then next method of separation is, then another some more examples also given in your textbook. Fruits and vegetable juices are usually filtered before drinking to separate the seeds and solid particles of pulp. The method of filtration is also used in the process of preparing cottage cheese, paneer in our homes. We know that for making paneers, the curd is taken into a cloth and we remove the water. We remove the water from the curd, then we get a paneer. So we use the filtration method for making paneer. Then you might have seen that for making paneer, a few drops of lemon juices are added to milk as it boils. This gives a mixture of particles of solid paneer and a liquid. The paneer is then separated by filtering the mixture through a fine cloth or a strainer. We know that for making paneer, the filtration method is used. For making paneer, filtration method is used. Next method of separation is evaporation. Then how we can make evaporation? What do you mean by evaporation? Next method of separation is evaporation. Eighth method of separation is evaporation. What do you mean by evaporation? Evaporation means the process of conversion. The process of conversion of water into its vapor. Is called evaporation. Water into its vapor is called evaporation. Okay, an activity is given in your textbook. Activity 6. Activity 6 tells us about add 2 spoons of salt to water in another beaker and stir it well. First of all, we take a beaker and take some water in it, add 2 spoons of salt in it. Then stir well. Then we can see any color change into the water. No. Any change of taste in the water. Yes, we can taste salty taste. We feel a salty taste. Then next we what we do? Then we add some. Then we add 2 spoons of salt into the water. What happened? The color of the water does not change. But the taste of the water is changed. Okay. Then what? Then we can see any salt particles in the water. No, the salt is dissolved into the water. Then what happened? then what we do? We heat the water in the beaker, salt water in the beaker. Then what happened? We can see that the water is go out in the form of vapor and the salt remains into the beaker. So the conversion of water into its vapor is called evaporation. So we can separate water from the salt water and so we can separate water from the salt water through evaporation. What do you mean by evaporation? The conversion of water into its vapor is called evaporation. We know that we get salt from seawater. The seawater makes seawater into some ponds, and the water is the conversion of water present in the sea water is into its vapor form, and the salt is remain in the then after further purification of the salt, so we get the good salt. Obtaining salt from seawater is also is through evaporation. Next method we learn is condensation. Ninth method of separation is condensation. Ninth method of separation is condensation. Then how we can do condensation method? Condensation method, take a mixture of sand and salt. Then sometimes more than one method of separation is doing for separate the components present in a mixture. So first if we separate salt from the water through decanted liquids, then what we do, then through condensation method we can remove the salt, we can remove the water from the salt solution, how we do the condensation method? How we do? First of all, we take some salt water in a kettle. Then after some time the lid of the kettle is closed, then the heat is increased, the salt water inside the kettle get boil. Then what we can see, the vapor is go outside. The vapor is in the water is go outside in the form of vapor. Then what we do? Then how can we condense the water vapor? Then first we take some ice cubes in a vessel, then place the ice cubes on the top of the vessel and keep the vessel on the side near to the vapor coming from the kettle. We can see that. Then keep a vessel under the ice cubes. We can see that the vapor condenses and forms the water. Vapor condenses and get water. Vapor condenses and get water. Page number 41, condensation method is given. First of all, what we do? We take some salt water. We take some salt water in a kettle, electric kettle or any kettle. Then close the lid of the kettle. Then after some time we can see that the vapor coming from one side of the kettle. Then what we do? It is called evaporation. The vapor coming, that is the water present in the salt water is converted into water vapor. That is evaporation. Then that water vapor how can we condense? First we take some ice cubes in a lid. Then place it on the top of the lid and place near to the vapor coming from the kettle. Then we can see that the vapor touches the lid that we keep. So it condenses. The vapor condenses and the water goes to the vessel. Okay, this is the condensation method. Then what we can say about condensation? The condensation is the process of conversion of water vapor into water. So the process of conversion of water vapor into water is called condensation. Evaporation, water into water vapor. Conversion of water into water vapor. Okay. This is the evaporation and condensation. Evaporation means the process of conversion of water into water vapor is called evaporation. The process of conversion of water vapor into water is called condensation. Okay. Next method of separation is next method sometimes we use next method. Next is, can water dissolve any amount of substance? Can water dissolve any amount of substance? Next we move on to another topic. Can water dissolve any amount of a substance? Then on activity 8 is given. Need a beaker or a small pan, a spoon, salt and water we need. For doing this activity 8, we need a beaker, small pan, a spoon, salt and water. First of all, pour half a cup of water in a beaker. First we take a beaker, small pan, spoon, then salt and water we need. First of all, we pour half a cup of water in the beaker. Then add 1 teaspoon full of salt. 1 teaspoon full of salt into the water in the beaker and stir it well. Then we can see that the salt completely dissolves. The salt completely dissolves. Okay. Then again add a teaspoon full of salt and stir well. Then repeat the process again and again, adding each teaspoonful of salt into the water that we taken in a beaker. Then what happened? After adding a few spoons of salt, we can see that some salts remains undissolved and settles at the bottom of the beaker. Then what happened in this situation? This means that no more salt can be dissolved in the amount of water we have taken. The solution is now said to be saturated. The solution is now said to be saturated solution. If the solution is in the saturated form, then we again add the substance, add the salt into the solution. It does not completely dissolves into the water. It remains, it settles into the bottom of the water. So in this situation we can say that the solution is saturated. Okay. Next, some more activities are given. So then all of you listen page number. These are things we learned in this chapter. Then our chapter is over. In this chapter we learned the different methods of separation. How we can separate the substances from a mixture, solid mixtures or liquid mixtures. Okay. Then all of you read the text and write the notes neatly and send it to me. If you have any doubt, ask me. Okay. Then what are things we learned today? We learned the different methods of separation. Which are the different methods of separation we learned today? Hand picking, threshing, winnowing, sieving, sedimentation, decantation, filtration, evaporation and condensation. Then what is evaporation? The evaporation is the process of conversion of water into water vapor. The process of conversion of water into water vapor is called evaporation. Then what is condensation? The process of conversion of water vapor into water is called condensation. So all of you study well. Okay, thank you.